Okay, hi. I'd like to welcome everybody. I'm Debbie Homeyer, your 2022 president. And this meeting is kind of set up to be an informational question and answer. And we have a special guest today. So I'm going to turn this over now to Casey to welcome our guest. And then I'll come back later for some updates from myself. Take it away, Casey.
Madam Chair. Yes, thank you very much. Unfortunately, our special guest is stuck in traffic right now, in horrible traffic right now. So he's on his way. He'll be here shortly, and if he doesn't make it, I'm just going to speak for him. So Texas Realtors, and Lisa, are you doing screen share? And if you could, would you be able to pull up Texas Realtors support for me, please? While she's doing that, Texas Realtors, you as Texas Realtors, we support candidates. We support candidates that are that understand our issues and will fight for private property rights in office. We have an elected official in the room right now. I'd like to recognize City Councilman for Shirts, Mr. Tim Brown. Thank you for, and he is a realtor supported candidate. But we are talking about that is a local level, and right now we've got some local races coming up that we're supporting, but we've also got some state races coming up. And our guest for today was going to be former New Braunfels City Council Mayor Baron Castile, and he is running for HD House District 73. That is a reformed district, so with redistricting, the maps were redrawn a little bit, and this district used to cover Comal County, used to go out toward, west, and now it covers all of Comal County and the west half of Hays County, and those are two counties that are entirely comprised within our board. We have jurisdiction in those counties, so. We interviewed all of the candidates for that race and decided, realtors like you decided that Baron Castile was the best candidate for realtors to support. And he's actually coming in right here. He's actually coming in while we're speaking. Mr. Castile, I see you've been able to join us. You got through your traffic.
No, I'm still sitting in it. The joys of Ranch Road 12.
Well, please be safe. I was just talking about why realtors decided to support you for your race and kind of the process we go through. But would you please take a few minutes to talk about your campaign and what we can see from you and your campaign as realtors?
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the time. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the video so I have more than enough bandwidth.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually on my way to Dripping Springs for a chamber luncheon and a few meetings today. I am running in District 73, which is entirely Comal County, made up of Comal County and Western Hays, which is Wimberley, the Wimberley area, Driftwood, and Dripping Springs. And the election will be March 1. District 73 has about 72 to 73% of the district votes Republican. So the primary is the election that will decide the state representative for District 73. And I certainly appreciate the realtors' support. And of course, I've always enjoyed direction and information from realtors in our area throughout any time that I've had the opportunity to either volunteer or serve in volunteer service. I'll tell you that we live in an area that's obviously very fast-paced growth. That's good for some and difficult on others. But one thing that we've seen is a growth in overall value in our community. And I'll tell you that working with the realtors in our area been always devoted to improving that infrastructure and that value. I think somebody's got a. There we go. But I'd be more than happy to answer questions or talk about anything that y'all would like to talk about this morning. And I think Steve Cornelius has joined as well as maybe Kurt. Steve is my volunteer coordinator. Steve coordinates each weekend and throughout the week, volunteers on door knocking. We do a lot of block walking and a lot of phone canvassing, and we have a good group of volunteers. And so far, that's where we've been putting forth our shoulder. But please, if anyone has any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
So I'll kick this off real quick with a question. And since Steve is on here, that's fantastic. Realtors may want to volunteer to help with your campaign. And if they were going to do so, I know Steve is the point person for volunteer coordination. Steve, what is your email address?
My email address is slkcorn@gmail.com.
Thank you very much, sir. And follow-up question that, what do you have any events coming up that if realtors wanted to attend, they'd be welcome to?
I do, and I can share that, with you. Once you hit me with my the email, I can provide you a list of events that we have coming up within the neek and a half, and we can go from there.
Steve, why don't you put your email up on the chat?
And I have a direct contact to Steve as well. So if y'all are interested in attending any of these events, volunteering, let me know and I can put you in touch with Steve as well. Mark, you have a comment?
Yeah, it's Baron's a good friend, but besides being a good friend, he's been a great leader. He's been very accessible. He fully understands what makes Texas work, and that's property owner rights. And it's not government that drives business, it's businesses that drive business. Baron gets it. And here's a huge difference between Baron and all the others. He's got the experience. He has got the experience, and he is extremely smart, and he's got the knowledge. So he is the kind of leader that we need in Austin. And we don't need more of the same what we just came from in District 73. So Baron's the guy. We need to get out and vote as realtors. And we have the most realtors in our district than anybody else in the state. Realtors do make a difference by voting, also by using our database to reach out to friends and business owners and so on. Let's get them out to vote. Let's make sure they understand why it's important for Baron to be elected. So it's critically important for us. One, vote early, vote often, but vote. And that's just, it's so important. So.
I would like to add.
Mark, right. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. So I would like to add on February the 8th, at the Terrace, we'll have an event for a realtor. And this week we plan to send the invites out. Mark Hampton is also helping me, in that effort as well. And so if you have other listing of realtor and developers, that will be nice if you can share their contact information so I can send that information out to you. And I think at that venue, you will learn a whole lot more. You will hear Baron's platform to ask specific questions about anything that you have in your mind. And I think that will be a great opportunity for realtors to see exactly where we're moving and opportunity to sign up, because we'll need a lot of support from you guys on block walking phone canvassing, poll greeters, etc. So February the 8th. And so if you can share that information, I will definitely get the invite out this week. And, looking forward to meeting with all you guys on February the 8th.
Yeah, so let me tell you that we are fully committed to this campaign. Just to give you an idea of where I'm at today, I started this morning at a coffee, and then in town, and then I'm in Dripping Springs. I'm at Deep Eddy, which is a chamber event in Dripping Springs, and then I go to Austin to meet with the Agriculture Council, which is their issues are obviously going to be a number of issues that aligned with others. They want to talk about eminent domain and their concern about that. And then I'll head back into New Braunfels, where I have 2 more meetings, and then it starts all over again tomorrow morning. And every day is a day that we're committed to getting out, either knocking on doors or meeting with various groups. And I'll tell you that the campaign is not where it ends. That level of engagement will be something that you will always see from me. And please understand that I will always be committed to responding as quickly as possible. My phone number is always accessible to all. I'm committed to trying to represent the district that I live in, that I work in, where I raise my family and have for my entire life. And that I will tell you will always be something that I will cherish as a difference between me and any other candidate.
Sir, thank you for taking the time to meet with us today. Thank you for deciding to serve in HD 73. The Realtors look forward to supporting you all the way through your campaign, and we hope this is a quick and easy primary for you.
Well, thank you, sir. And like I said, I'll put on the chat my cell number and my email, and please, no one hesitate to contact me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, as I was saying, this was a long process. We interviewed all the candidates for this race and others. And Mr. Castillo, by the way, I'm moving on with our process. So if you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to hang out. But I know you've got a busy day. Steve, I know you're right there with him. So if y'all don't want to hang out, you're free to leave at any point in time. But you're also welcome to stay and listen to us today. But I was talking about our process, and we had Realtor members like you that interviewed every single candidate for this race and for a lot of other races. And for this one, we decided that Mr. Castillo was far and above the best candidate for the job. And so, Lisa, would you pull up that Texas Realtor support page again? And so this is our Texas Realtor support page, and it is live right now. And if you notice, you'll jump in, and if you are logged into TexasRealestate.com, the Texas Realtors website, it will auto-populate this information for you as a realtor, and it will show you local, state, and federal candidates that realtors are supporting on your ballot. If you're not a realtor member or you're not logged in, you can type in your address. And Lisa, let's just go ahead and type my address in there. 212, or put any address, but 212 Canyon Ren Drive, WREN. WREN. Thank you. And that's Buda. Yes, I'm way up here. 78610. Yes, I just gave all y'all my address. It's not like you couldn't look it up anyway. And you look up my candidates. And there you go. They're all the candidates. And since we're not logged in as me, I'm just like a normal anybody. Anybody can use this. Your clients can use this. This will show all the state level candidates that we're supporting and the local level candidates we're supporting. And you'll notice that Mr. Castillo is not on this one because I am not in his district. I'm in HD 45. So that's Aaron Zwiener. You can go to all candidates. You could go to a hot list of candidates. And the hot list shows hot races and races that we're supporting. This would be on that hot list of, so here's all the hot list candidates. Here's all the races, all the candidates that we're supporting, the one and the level of importance for those races. So good information to share. Elections are, the primaries, of course, in Texas are always important. A lot of our races are won and lost in the primaries. Just for your information, January 31st, that's coming up real quick. It's 5 days. It's the last day to register to vote for the primaries. February 14th will be the beginning of early voting. We'll put all this out in more information so you can easily share it. But February 14th, that's 19 days away. That's early voting starts. Early voting ends on February 25th. February 18th that's the last day for counties to receive mail-in ballot requests. That's 23 days away. March 1st is the actual date of the Texas primary. If you don't vote early, you got to vote on March 1st. And that's 34 days away. We're a month away from early voting, or from the primary. And like Mr. Steele said here, races like his are going to be won and lost in this in the primaries. So, other information. Do we have any questions for me on early voting, on voting at all? Any questions there? I know I'm talking a lot, guys. If y'all ever want to contact me, ever want to reach out, I'll throw my contact information up on the chat just so y'all have it. You can contact me at any point in time. Ask me questions. I know a number of y'all do. A number of y'all contact me. Just give me a call, email me, whatever. So some other issues are coming up. We do have winter meeting coming up in February. It's going to be the middle area of February. Two things that if you're interested in going into Austin and taking part in winter meetings, we have a public policy forum coming up that we're going to be discussing the sources of new tax revenue. That is going to be on February 12th from 3:45 to 4:45. And then that's a Saturday, by the way. And then February 13th, the Sunday, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. is our Government Affairs Forum. We're going to have a couple special guests. One is going to be Justin Evan Young, and he's going to talk about the role of the judiciary. And then we're going to have a live podcast with Scott Braddock. And we're going to be discussing about a lot of realtor issues. In there also, those are two events I'd like you to attend if you're able to. But outside of that is we're going to be having our public policy committee meetings, lots of information discussed during the interim. And then, of course, on that Sunday, the 13th, is our from 5 to 5:45 is our Region 7 caucus. We are in Texas Realtors Region 7. And so we're going to be discussing about all the issues that are of importance to you during that Region 7 caucus. Regina, am I out of time now? Am I out of time, or do I have a couple more minutes?
Sorry, that's actually Debbie's call.
Debbie?
Debbie, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
Go
Our
ahead.
Zoom meetings are-
Since this is our
Okay.
first.
Well, I just wanted to talk to y'all. We're going to talk about some national stuff. You guys, there's some national stuff that you and your agents are going to be interested in. Some things coming down the line. Y'all know if you deal with condos at all, Fannie Mae enacted some enhanced safety documentation for condos a little while back. Freddie Mac has followed suit. And in any loans, so if y'all are doing any loans on condos, if y'all are working with clients who are going to take Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loans on condos, if there's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are going to get in there, they're going to require some additional documentation. And some of this documentation is projected to slow down some of your closings. The included documentation will include things like HOA or co-op board meeting minutes, engineers reports, reserve studies. This is all in reaction to the Surfside building collapse, and they're just making sure that that there are no critical repairs, there are no special assessments that are needed, that your clients aren't going to be blindsided by. There are some of these aspects NAR is not in agreement with, and thinks that it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, an overcorrection. Some of them are needed, but this may slow down. Just be aware that for condos and these new requirements may slow down some of your lending requirements and your closing dates. If you're interested in seeing what NAR's had to say, reach out to me. I've got all kinds of white papers on this that we've sent out, that NAR has sent out. In addition, NAR has taken part. So President Biden instituted the PAVE task force. The PAVE task force was the Property Appraisal and Valuation Equity Task Force. They're going to be putting out a report into February. We're expecting it. NAR, the Real Property Value Committee, and the Fair Housing Policy Committee were involved. This task force that was put together is all to discuss appraisal equity, sorry, I blinked for a second. It's all to discuss appraisal equity and make sure that to address discrimination in the appraisal and home buying process. And so we're just making sure that that realtors are an integral part of this process. That the appraisers, industry professionals, and appraisers are an integral part of this process and this revamp of the appraisal process. So any questions, let me know. I'll put my information in the chat box for y'all, and I'll be here at any point in time to talk.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey. We're lucky to have Casey, so valuable with all his information. All right, moving right along, and bear with me, this is my first meeting, so I want to try to get as much covered. First thing on our agenda is our updates. If you have to renew your broker's responsibility, your legal, your NAR, now is the time. February, Four Rivers is offering this free. So that's the best deal around. You can take it all in February, get it all done. So you can check your schedules. So the legal 1 and 2 is February 4th. The NAR for cycle 7 is on February 7th. And broker responsibility is February 18th. And that's all in the agenda. So highly recommend it. Also, we've been working on a strategic plan, going over it. It started back in 2018, so things have changed, and we really need to revise it. We're going to look to you guys and your agents to give us some input on what we need to do to help us with making the necessary changes, education, helping with our strategic plan. So we're sending out a survey. It should go out this week. And if you'll please, yes, it might be a little long, but it's so valuable to know what you want, how you want to be involved, and what we're missing, what we need to address. So take the time to fill that out if you wouldn't mind. We would really appreciate it. So we've got some committee news. Regina, I'm not sure about the MLS committee. Is that where Becky's going to give the report there?
No. We've got Central Texas MLS, but we have our local MLS committee, and I believe we have Margaret Ennis on here. She's
cool.
chairing that. So
Okay.
she might address the purpose for that committee.
All right, Margaret, would you like to step in and tell us a little bit more? Down here.
Well, she's showing on the screen, but she wasn't expecting to talk. The thing with this local committee is it works with our advisory council. There she comes. There she comes.
Hi. Sorry, it was driving. Didn't want to do anything illegal. Being with the MLS chair, basically what we're going to be doing today is watching all of the new classes that they've got going on. And then we're going to have a meeting, and then we are going to get together on our first official with our new committee in February. So we're looking forward to putting this together, and we are going to be reaching out to agents and making sure that they are best knowledgeable about the MLS and what the rules are, because there's a lot of people breaking those rules. And so even me as a veteran, 20 years here, there were things that I went, oh, okay, wait a minute, I shouldn't do that before I do this. So we're going to really kind of start nailing down and making sure that everybody is doing what they should be doing. So good luck. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Do you still have room for people to hop on to your committee?
She froze.
Okay. Well, I'm guessing
Yes.
that we have room for anybody. When I started in real estate, MLS was the first one I got involved with when I wanted to join the board I was with, which was a small board in Fredericksburg. And MLS teaches you a lot, and therefore I highly recommend. That's a great committee to start with. Encourage your agents, participate in that. I mean, you guys are using it, so any information definitely helps. So thank you.
Thank you.
The next thing is something that is new. NAR is pushing for all boards to start a diversity committee. And we don't see a lot of these issues in our area, but we still need to address it. So we have started with Marty Chrisman is going to be our chair. And we're looking for building this up. We're on the grounds level right now. Anybody that wants to participate in this committee, please contact myself or the board or Marty. Again, we've got to create a mission statement. We've got to define the purposes and go forward with this whole new committee. So this is something, again, a lot of other states have been doing this for a while. Texas is adopting a lot of the things that NAR has recommended with this diversity. So we're jumping on board so that we can cover it too. The next thing is the New Gen event. There's a flyer attached. If you haven't looked at it, it's also in the Monday memo. New Gen is a committee that is a lot of fun. If you want to participate in it, there's openings on any of our committees, but they have a Valentine's event coming up. Let me get the date on that right quick. I think I have it.
The 15th.
The 15th. Okay, there is a flyer. The flyer. They have some sponsors for this, and they actually just get together looking to have a good time. So the 15th, and it's got the flyer information where anybody that wants to attend that. Regina, is there anything else I need to cover on that one?
Actually, I'd like to turn that over to Lisa. Lisa's the liaison for the Next Gen Committee, and I think she could explain this very well.
Good.
Sure, absolutely. Yes, so we're going to have a Valentine's breakfast panel event. So we're going to have, it's going to be 9 to 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 15th. We're going to have delicious Granzines breakfast tacos, and then a mimosa bar, and then coffee and water and stuff like that. But the basis is our sponsors are in each area of the real estate transaction. So we'll have home builders speaking on new and existing construction. We'll have title people there, inspectors, funding, home warranty, insurance. So they'll go over a little bit about the process of that for the real estate transaction. So you can bring your realtor friends or clients for this information. And then each sponsor will have a booth and you'll be able to work the room and go around to each booth and talk to each sponsor individually. And then there'll be door prizes and fun stuff like that. So the Valentine's Breakfast Panel, February 15th, 9 to 10 a.m.
Well, that sounds like fun. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, moving right along. We've got some updates on things that you might not know that exist on the Four Rivers website. When I first came on board, one of the things I asked was what counties were all included with Four Rivers. I'd always heard about New Braunfels, Seguin, all of that, but what counties? And the counties are Caldwell, Comal, Gonzales, Guadalupe, and Hayes. And that makes up about 25 cities. So we cover a pretty vast area. And within this, each month they put together Four Rivers, the stats for these areas by city. So I highly recommend that you go out and check out our website to see what these totals are. This is a great marketing ploy also to show your buyers and your sellers. And this is just one tool that you'll find out there. So, and they've got the information by months. So even if you want to go back to a prior, it's out there as well. Okay. Anything else on that one, Regina?
Nope.
Okay. We'll move right along. Professional standard updates. So Lee, if I can turn this over to Lee Edwards, he's always full of information.
Lee, you're muted.
Yeah, there we go. Full of something anyway. Okay, so on the subject of what's been going on with professional standards, what we're finding is to all the brokers out there that you really need to step up your educational game with your agents. We've got a lot of new agents in the market. We've got a lot of agents that were part-time that have kind of kicked in, and we're starting to see more and more violations. A couple of items that have come up in the last month is we've got people marketing other people's listings, which is okay, provided you have permission, and they need to make sure they get that permission in writing. We've got some brokerages that out of San Antonio that are in violation, some up in the commercial side, up around Lockhart Luling, and it's really causing a lot of problems for people trying to make offers, and the data is incorrect in the MLS. The second thing we're seeing is that because in our district, we have agents that are members of 3 or 4 or 5 MLS systems, that they're not getting their changes made in a timely manner in all of the systems. And I think all of us are having issues with it because we do not have a single clear focus in that area. So please get with your people to make sure that when they put something under contract or they make a change in the status, that they change in every single MLS that they're a member of. The next item that we're getting some things besides that, always there's marketing issues out there that everybody tries to be creative and, oh, my brokers never thought about it, so I'm making offers out there and enticing people incorrectly. That's starting to cause some issues. And of course, in AOR and the association, we're now pushing with this extra code of ethics. I'm going to send out a simple video on the code of ethics.
You're muted, Lee. Lee, you're muted.
Yes. I'm
There you go.
muted again. There we go. Anyway, I just sent you a YouTube site that you can share with your agents currently. We are going to rebrand it, put it together. We're working on all of the releases now. It is a simple 2-minute video that explains code of ethics clearly, concisely, with not a lot of bull. Now, the reason we bring this up is that professional standards is being forced in some cases to be a little bit more aggressive. Normally, when your agents do something, they get a courtesy phone call if it's reported to us and say, hey, you might have made a mistake. You may want to check with your broker and see what this is about. The second one is we talk to the broker, and if we don't get anything changed out that, I'm going to tell you there'll be a motion to file a complaint. And that it's turned into the Wild West a little bit, and the number of issues that are being brought to us are growing. We're going to be sending out some new flyers to you to help you communicate with your agents so that you can keep them out of trouble. But in this last one, there are a lot of cases coming up that things going on agent to agent are really bringing out the things. So we're trying to avoid those through education. Any questions? Any comments? If you're having issues as brokers, please let us know on professional standards. Yeah, Bob.
Who is making the motion to file the complaint?
There would be, here's what happens. If we get something, for example, let's say that something comes forward to professional standards that is blatant in advertising. That's usually the ones that would come up. And it is certainly a violation of the code of ethics clearly. Then it can be made from the standards committee, or it can be made from the association. As of yet, we've not filed any. Everything's been handled the other way. But there are a couple of cases currently where the people didn't make corrective action on it, and the broker notified didn't make correction, and it could be the next procedure. We're just trying to give you a heads up. Take care of it when you get the phone call.
Okay.
Because if you don't, you force the hand of it, and nobody wants to go there. We formed our professional standards committee to be an educational source. That's what we're here to do. We're here to educate you and keep everybody working forward. But we've had a lot of pressure to be more than that. We're restraining it. But there are there's some clear cooperation issues out there. And
I don't disagree whatsoever with what you're saying. I just know that most complaints require the person that witnessed it to complain about it,
that's the issue. Once they put it to us,
advertising is a different thing. If it's in writing, you can see it.
Right. If it's others, we let it go through the process where we recommend it to do. But we're just telling you, if it's blatantly clear and we're part privy to it, then we can keep the privacy portion to keep it from turning into war between agents.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Any other things? Okay. Well, we'll get those flyers out, and we're hoping this video helps pull some of this problem back. That's what we're trying to do, is keep entertaining you with new flyers and new funny talks so that we don't have these issues. So y'all have a good one.
Thank you, Lee. I do have one comment on your stuff for everybody. The code of ethics is so important in the professional standards. Please talk to your agents and even reread Article 1 and Article 3.2. This pertains to commissions and stopping transactions due to commissions. And we're seeing a lot of commission issues come up as well. I personally went through one recently in Article 1 and Article 3.2 are critical because you never want to stop a transaction for your commission. Our duties are to our sellers and buyers, our fiduciary duties. And then if we have a commission issue, we might have to take it up later with mediation or arbitration. So those two seem to be, of concern, and agents do not understand that. So I'm anxious to look at the video. So
Yep.
thank you. I appreciate that. Anybody else before we move on? Okay.
Just where would that video be? Where can we find the video that he just put up?
He posted it. He posted it in chat, but it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay. Moving right along, we've got Becky Whittier up next to talk about our MLS with CTX MLS. Okay, Becky, where are you? Take it over.
I'm right here. Thanks, Debbie.
Okay.
So we have some new rules coming from NAR. I guess they just couldn't stand it. They had to have another meeting and pass some more rules. They will be taking effect as of March 1, and a few of them involve you as the broker to make some decision. The first one data source, is probably not going to be something you're going to deal with. We do have a few brokers that want all their data feeds in one feed, and that will require them to just have one third-party vendor. So they usually have their own IT department that will do all the mapping of the data feeds, but for most of you, that won't change. The second one is the broker back office feed. It requires the MLS to make that available. We've always had that available, so that really doesn't affect us. There's several MLSs that didn't offer that. And with all the technology that some of you are using, you need that type of feed for your analytics and your back office reports that you're doing. There is a requirement that the participants on your IDX displays, you must identify the listing firm and an email or phone number provided by the listing participant. So you'll need to get with your third-party vendors that are hosting your websites with your IDX and make sure that you tell them what you want. Do you want your brokerage contact information? Do you want the listing agent's contact information? But you as the broker have to decide how you want that on your website. And by March 1, it's got to be there, and it's got to be in a reasonably prominent location. So everything that I've got here, I have sent to Regina to send out to you. So you will have these. I kind of did a Reader's Digest version of these so that you'll have them. The next one is the listing broker compensation. NAR is requiring that we release that field into the IDX. And I've already instructed Trestle, who handles all of our data feeds. They are in the process of notifying all the third-party vendors that that field is going to be released in the next couple of weeks. You can go on to Redfin right now. They're already showing the compensation on their listings. The one thing that if you decide you're going to put that on your listing, then you have to put in a disclaimer stating that the offer is made only to participants of the MLS where the listing is filed. Unfortunately, that's going to be even more confusing to the public, but that's the requirement. So on your IDX, that field is going to be available, and you're going to have to decide if you want to display it. And if you do, then you're going to have to let your third-party vendor know that they need to map that field coming across to your website. There's a new policy that you cannot, if you are a buyer's agent, you cannot advertise your services as free anymore. It prohibits that to happen. I'm not sure why they put this on the MLS because I can't really enforce it. If it gets turned in, we're probably going to turn it over to D-Lee because they're also bringing it through professional standards. But that goes back to the transparency of the lawsuits that are going on against NAR, where the public doesn't understand and the buyers don't understand how commissions work. And so they want them to know they're not free. It is actually coming out of the buyer's sale or funds going to the house. So they're starting to advertise. And like I said, if you go on to Redfin, they've done an excellent job where they will put the buyer's commission, and then that is a hyperlink. And when you click that link, they have a whole page that outlines how the buyer's commission works to educate the public. And that's probably a DOJ thing also that they're working on. And then lastly, we don't have a whole lot of this happening here, but it is happening in the country where agents are filtering their searches by commissions or by excluding certain brokers. And if it isn't one of the higher commissions, even if the listing is what their buyer wants, they're not sending those because they're filtering what they're pulling. So we have gone into the MLS, and currently you are unable to do that within the system. CoreLogic has changed that. But we've also got it to where you can't exclude and filter out brokers because you don't like them. So that is being worked on at a CoreLogic level. So those are the rules that are coming down, but it's going to require you to have dialogue with your third-party vendors of what you want to do and how you want to do it. So, Madam President, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Becky, did you say that listing brokers will have to disclose what they're being paid?
The listing broker does not have to disclose theirs. That isn't in what you're being paid by your seller as the listing broker is not in the MLS.
Right.
But the field in the MLS that is being offered to the buyer's agent, that is going to be made available on the IDX that you'll have to decide if you want to show it.
Okay.
And you're all welcome to call me at any time if you want to talk about this in more detail, because it can get confusing talking to your third-party vendor.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for Becky? Okay. Wow, we'll just move right along. So it's back to me. If you'll mark your calendars for our next meeting of April 27th, and then that next one will be July 27th, and then October 26th. I hope to see you then. I do want to tell you a couple of things. NAR also has a program called Telemed, and you might want to look into that. And it came out, especially being promoted with the start of COVID. I have used it. They started with the freebies for, so many months back when COVID started. They're doing it again right now for 2 months free. And then it's $7 a month. I've used it when you can't get into your doctor. You can FaceTime them. You can chat with them. And then they send you a report back, or they can actually help you. This information is on the NAR site, and I think it was in our Monday memo this week. I highly recommend it. It's there if we need it. The other thing is our committees. We're still building our committees right now, and it's so important. If you want to get involved, start with a committee. Again, like I said earlier, I started with MLS. My gosh, I've done I think all of them pretty much throughout all my time of serving as I've gone up in leadership. Committees are amazing. You want to be a voice, start there. You can always become part of leadership as well. We have lots of room for expanding, so we would welcome you or your agents. The other thing, let's see, we we wanted to start our luncheons back, but unfortunately with this new COVID thing, we had to, stop and kind of step back on that. So we're hoping to get those going again. I think that's about all, unless you guys, is there anything y'all want to start seeing on these meetings? You want to talk about something that helps us specifically as brokers and managers? We can have a quick little, hey, here's a tidbit on something I found that works great and share with each other. I'm trying to do tips in the Monday memo on little things that people might not know. As me coming on and looking over everything, I find stuff and it's like, well, if I don't know that, how does everybody else not know that? So anything like that that's going to make us better in our jobs, more involved with our communities, I'm definitely open. So if you've got any ideas, you can put them in the chat. You can email me. My information is, I can put it in the chat or it's on the board website, I guess. So contact us. We want to do, this board is for you guys. What we can do to make it better is it's going to take you guys. So, and a fresh set of eyes always helps. I guess that is about it. I try to keep the meetings pretty quick so it can get you back out and sell and, take all this information back to your agents.
Hey, really quick, I would like to say something on the MLS, the
Okay.
rules and regulations and stuff like that. That it's kind of been one of those things that things are going so quick. People put their sign out. It's not in the MLS yet. I've had ones that are like out there for a week, and I'm going, what is this? So please make sure that your agents know that it needs any marketing. You know what I mean? It needs to be in the MLS. Then you put your sign out, because I've seen some new agents to people that have been in the business 30 years that said, oh, I need to get pictures. We're going to get them in the next few days. Sign cannot be out in the yard. So please make sure that your agents just know that so that they don't start getting in trouble. Okay. Thanks, guys.
We've got some jurisdictional issues as well, since you bring that up just real quick, is that how coming soon is viewed in AOR, SABOR, and Central Texas is different. Mm-hmm. We sent out a piece on that to brokers. Regina, if we've got that, we can send it out again where we show the comparison. AOR doesn't allow coming soon at all. The issue is if you have an AOR agent working down here that's not a member of Central Texas, there's a whole different dynamic. Same thing. SABOR deals with it with their private listing side. So when we get those, we have to go back and research what MLS out there out of. There hasn't been a cooperative agreement between AOR, SABOR, and Central Texas or Four Rivers about jurisdictional violations. And that is something that needs to be addressed, that if somebody's in the jurisdiction of the home turf, do their rules are fully enforceable. So just as a note, that's one of the areas that we're having real issues with that are going to have to be taken care of board to board for enforcement capability. That's why we're having an issue. Okay.
Thanks, Lee. And I think part of that is a lot of people have not read over that Clear Court policy. And I know social media is another area that people don't understand. By posting, watch, this is coming. And you don't know what MLS they even belong to, but just here, this is coming soon, showing pictures and not getting into the MLS in a timely manner as well. So Clear Court policy probably needs to go out, and maybe at your meetings, talk to your agents about that a little bit more. In the chat, we just had a comment about, more of the Lockhart and Luling brokers to participate. If you know these brokers, ask them to come, invite, maybe that's what we should do. Invite another broker to the next meeting. And let's get more people involved. And then that you wish the Four Rivers committees would come to have meetings once a year so they can see the growth while here. A beginning, attend a meeting. I'm not sure what you want out of that other than attend those meetings, the beginning and the end of the year. I mean, we come a long way. And the way that these committees are set up is you've got a chair, you've got a vice chair. We're always looking for that vice chair to move up. So if you want to see growth in those committees and being able to see where they start and end, sit in on one. That's the best way to make those recommendations. What else can we do on these meetings? I don't know if I totally understood that, or if you want to clarify if there's something else that we need to do. What's that?
It was me who made the comment. I've been on the Central Texas Advisory Council for 4 years and other committees, and I go and I keep saying to groups, Lockhart's growing, we're on the map. Texas Monthly just picked us to host for the next 20 years their Texas Barbecue Festival here in November. And Iron Ox is expanding again in Lockhart. They're the hydroponics plant vegetable growers. And we're just booming now. The whole town square is filled. There's 66 active business members of the Downtown Business Association, and there's at least 10 more that could join. Like, I would even think Gen X might enjoy coming over here and hosting a meeting, whatever that youth group is that I'm way too old to be in, but they might enjoy like coming to the Pearl Bar, which I own here. I'll just ask for that business right now. Y'all come on down and we can do a slideshow, maybe get economic development over to help host a progress report on Lockhart. They opened a new industrial park as well. And there's just so much happening because we're the easiest commute to Austin. You don't have to get on 35 and you don't have to get on 130. You just take 183 north and you can be there in 25, 30 minutes, depending on where you're going. And it's just gonna boom. It's the next boom county around here.
Rhonda, are you hoping that we'll start as a board doing more things in Luling so that we can see Lockhart, so that we can see all these changes? I heard you, Miss Gen X, but are there other things that you suggest, like other meetings that we might be able to hold there to learn more about your city?
Well, I can't, like the luncheon, I think was scheduled once for Seguin. Why not have it over here? I mean, I know that I think the one in Seguin was canceled because of COVID, but if y'all get to where we're hosting luncheons again, and why not pick Lockhart? Get all the membership invited over here. I mean, obviously we're closer to some other communities that we've signed up in the Four Rivers Association. So, and Central Texas MLS, maybe some of them would come. I'm just shocked that none of the brokers are on this brokers meeting, and I don't think they have been in the past. I guess I'll personally invite them because it's so informative what y'all presented today. Thank you.
Rhonda, another committee you might really want to look at is the one that Casey's leading with the different counties and what needs to go on, knowing the politicians in your area. You might be a great one on that to bring that Lockhart area into that meeting.
I've helped. Yeah, I've helped on those, Debbie, in the past.
And you didn't. I think it's a little bit different now with Casey leading it, and I think we're trying to build that up. But I definitely want to talk to you a little bit more, because that was my concern, is to look at all of the counties and the cities that are under those and make sure, we've got Kyle and Butte way out there too, that we're going to lose them to Austin if we don't start listening to them and helping them in what their needs are. So it sounds like you guys are kind of struggling as well as, Kyle and Butte. So this is great. And we need people like you to come forth and say, this is what we're not getting, so that we can figure out what do we need to do. So thank you very much for coming forward with that.
Well,
Mark?
I'd like to note real quick, Rhonda, and for everybody, Rhonda's been a huge resource in your voice for the Central Texas Advisory Council for the last couple of years. She knocked it out of the park and was a rock star. So thank you for all your input. Pushing back when needed to be pushed back and pushing forward when we needed to be pushed forward. So good job.
Awesome.
Definitely will take your suggestion, Rhonda, to the Professional Development Committee. They're still planning out their year, so absolutely.
okay, thank you.
And that one, Regina, let's put, if we can bring one of the high profile speakers, that would bring other areas in as well. Anybody?
Hey, I want to share a fairly new form that's out for people who do property management or leasing. A form has come out, the Texas Realtors have it, for disclosing to your new tenants whether or not the rental property is in a flood zone or has ever flooded. So I thought I might share that with you guys. It's pretty simple, one-page form. The landlord is supposed to fill it out and disclose that information. And you are supposed to, it's a disclosure, but in the form, it talks about attaching it to the lease and on lease renewals also.
Awesome, thank you. And you talk about a new form, I highly recommend too, people use that COVID-19 form in there. I actually used it on a transaction a couple of weeks ago, and they picked us in a bidding war because we had that form in there because the seller actually had COVID at the time. Just a kind of little tidbit. I know it died down for a while and it's back up. So that form is another good one to use in all your transactions. Anybody else have a tip, suggestion? This is good. Well, I hope that we see you back in our next one in April, and maybe bring a friend, bring somebody from your area, just like Rhonda said. Bring another broker, bring a manager, so that we can keep building this and helping each other. I mean, that's what it's all about. Not just, it's a competitive thing, but hey, I share all of my information. What makes me good is going to make the next person and back and forth. So that's all I've got. Anybody else? Regina, Casey, Mike? That's it.
We're good.
All right. Hey, get you out of here early too. I try. So thank you guys so much for attending, and we have the open door. So email us, call us, whatever we can do to keep growing and making us stronger.